Happy Wednesday. Welcome to EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your first choice for Edmonton Sports. I'm Hernan Salas, joined by Joaquin Gage, Zachticum behind the camera. We have a fun show lined up. It's Oilers Kraken. Tonight we will have the Oil Stream Pregame Show. First one of the year. Only a pregame show as it's not televised.
We are?
Yeah, Tommy and I.
Oh my God.
So that's going to be some fun stuff. But on today's show, we'll talk some CFL at 1:20 with Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press. And at 1:40, good old Hernan's World. A nice little fun intro I dug up. And it was a suggestion from a listener on the Nasty Chat. So that's going to be fun. And at 2:40, the one and only, the Chest, former Edmonton Oiler
yes.
from the Got Your Back podcast, Jason Strudwick, will join us via phone, but that should be a riot. Like always, hit us up on the Nasty Chat or text us at 780-218-99. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up. Make sure you're watching us on YouTube. If not, listen on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, or the iHeartRadio app. Fun show. Let's take everybody behind the scenes a little bit here at ESC headquarters right now, because at 1 o'clock there's a big staff meeting.
Yeah,
that we're not a part of because we're live. But what do you think they're talking about right now?
Us. But whatever, they can't.
How can they improve their show?
Yeah, no, they're like worried about. It's all discussion about the Estes for best show next year. Like, oh my gosh, how are we going to stop this freight train of Hernan and Joaquin?
Well, and your rant about the bathroom.
Oh,
yeah. That's got to be up there right now. But like I said, we're going to talk a lot of Oilers here on this show. There's some cool this day in sports history as well, Gator.
Is there?
Yeah. But why don't we get right to it? Yesterday, it was funny because we were talking and you were like, what happens if Celebrini goes down?
I did.
And
I
completely
jinxed it.
It was an amazing day in the NHL preseason. The Sharks lose Macklin Celebrini. The Rangers lost Artemi Panarin. And then in that Montreal-Ottawa game, things got a little stupid there. Ridley Gregg hits Kirby Doc in the head. He leaves, comes back, no harm done. Everybody's trying to fight this guy. Then Arbor Xhekaj. You don't think it's a dirty hit. I think it was a little bit dirty. He was kind of head hunting. He levels Tim Stutzle with a hit. Brady Tkachuk goes in to defend him. Both guys leave the game.
Yeah, no, at first glance I was like, okay, is this a bad hit? And granted I didn't see it in super slow-mo like how we look at most things these days, but to me it looked like he was it's a kind of a predatory hit, I guess is what they call these things now, that coming from the blind side. But look, if he really wanted to hurt Stutzle, he could have. Like, he could have really killed him there. And I get it. There's protection of players, but it's the old thing, especially with Stutzle. A YouTube Trev and I were talking about a few years ago when Brendan Gallagher was saying this guy stays on the ice multiple times throughout the game. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. Sometimes there's a little bit of that cry wolf syndrome. But I don't know, man. I think we're getting to a point where I think the players are protected enough. Like, guys don't go out of their way. Mm-hmm. Very rarely do you see a guy target the head anymore with those initial points of contact. Like when I played hockey, that was if a guy's head was down, you buried him. That was kind of the whole thing. And I understand you want to protect these guys, but geez, it just...
And he is bigger. Like, I mean, maybe he wasn't going for that, but just because Stutzle's a smaller guy. But it's truly unfortunate for a team that's trying to get off on the right foot. They're a team that's been rebuilding. They got their goalie. They're looking to make a push for the playoffs. They not only lose Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stutzle, they lose Thomas Chabot yesterday.
I know.
Like that. Yeah. That is amazing for that team. There's no. I think Arbor got fined. That's about it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I saw online, and I know Zach has the video. We can show it once it's ready here because if you haven't seen it, but. And then Kirby Doc, at the end of the game, dropped the gloves of Ridley Gregg and fed him a couple of good ones there. And that Ridley Gregg looks like a bit of, you know what I'm trying to say,
Agitator.
Agitator.
I played with his dad. Another kid I held, but no, he's a good player, man. Like he did that whole slap shot into the empty net, I believe.
Yeah, that was preseason too, right?
Yeah. So that was. Look, I love the fact that there's emotion in these games. Like, you can't tell me you're not going to be watching the first game when the Montreal Canadiens face off against the Ottawa Senators at this point. Hopefully everyone's back to full strength and everyone can participate in those games. But that's kind of what you want. I think you want that fire, that hatred towards the other team. I love it. I think it's great. Especially with two Canadian teams, the Ottawa Senators, like both those guys, hopefully fighting for probably more likely a wild card spot. But I think the league needs way more of this type of stuff.
Because there was also a video of Matt Rempe in New York, and he was headhunting. Like there was one, he just missed a New Jersey Devils player, and that's the thing. Like when I look at a guy like Arbor and I look like you're not fighting for a spot. You're going to be their fourth line guy.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in and out of the lineup because you don't bring much offensively or defensively, but you're in there to kind of, be physical and all that. But Gager, I just want to why are these guys doing this in the preseason? and there Zach has it playing right there. You let us know, dirty or non-dirty, because I know Mike Johnson on the call initially was like, oh, that's bad. But then when he looked back at it, he says it's Stutzle's stick that makes him bleed, his own stick. Yeah. But was the head targeted? Let us know what you think there. Thank you, Zach, for that. But that's an interesting.
Looking at that, I don't think the head was targeted. Like it was more, it got him more on the far side of the body there. His helmet goes flying, which makes it look a lot worse than it actually is. Like you said, man, the stick is what came up. And again, he doesn't look that hurt to be laying on the ice like that. And he pops up, and
Do you think it was more precautionary in return? Because the Brady Tkachuk, for one, concerns me because he went after him. He looked like he was fine. He went to the penalty box, and then he went to the room and never returned.
Well, that's when that's when you know he's hurt. Because was it a punch to the ice? Did he miss and hit the ice with his hand?
There wasn't a lot of punches thrown. It was more kind of wrestling there, but
that's such a big piece of that puzzle for.
Both guys, all three guys that got hurt. Shabbat was different.
You know what you can do? Stop having all these preseason games. Like this is stop it. If you get injured, it's bad enough to get injured during the regular season, but for a meaningless game to have that much superstar talent now possibly not being able to start the season, it's a joke.
Well, and that's why, these next two games, I know Connor wants to play them both. I would be like, Connor, let's play one, and knock on wood, he gets out good. You're not playing the last one. You don't need to.
I'm not. No. Like I said, training staff, they better just put the skates somewhere else. Oh, we can't find them, or
your man didn't make it.
Yeah, just don't. We're not going to have the plane delayed. Oh, Connor, you're on another flight. And he ends up in, Guam for a couple days before the season starts. He'll work out on the plane ride home or whatever. He can do wrap these guys in bubble wrap so they don't injure themselves for these two last they mean absolutely nothing. And when I hear players talk, I want to feel like a little bit better. No, go do that in practice. You're gonna get that back in 2 seconds once you hit game one anyway. This is, I would be tackling those guys coming out to the ice and not making. There's just way too much at stake for a stick, a puck, something to happen with a meaningless game. Because if anything does happen when it's meaningless, then you're always like, we shouldn't have done that. That didn't make much sense. Just stop with this preseason crap. There's too many superstars that aren't able to start the season.
They got to go to 4 or 5 games max, and those first 3 is for the rookies and the guys that are tweeners, and then the last 2 if you want to mix in your veterans. And I like your rule too. Stop making it that you have to dress a certain amount.
Yeah.
What is it, 8 now?
I think it's 8. Yeah. But I think first rounders count as a veteran, obviously. But that is just ridiculous. Looking at all these teams that have major injuries, there's not a lot of space. There might have been one or two spots that they were thinking about.
Yeah, and the big one is the Sharks lose their shiny new toy. Their first rounder, their guy of the future, Macklin Celebrini. He's going to the net. And he loses an edge, goes into the board, so you don't know what it is. I mean, those things happen. Those
things do happen, but again, they wouldn't have happened, or maybe they happened during the regular. Look, injuries are going to happen throughout the regular season. It's 82 games. There's a reason why there's so many games. So people can, when they get injured, they can come back at a reasonable time, I think. But no, I'm sorry, Macklin, for jinxing you yesterday, but he is a draw. And you know what? I did say something that I'll take back about San Jose. There is a hockey market in San Jose.
Sure.
It's there. I think they're going to show up regardless, but I guarantee there would have been a lot more butts in the seats if Celebrini's playing starting game one rather than, sitting in the press box.
Let's hope it's nothing too serious. Big Rick Butcher on the text line says, so late, though, talking about the hit. He thinks it was a late hit. Bone says, I hear Guam is quite pleasant this time of year.
Guam's great, man. Guam is awesome.
Justin of Balgoni, add a play-in tourney to the end of the year, 7-10, 8-9, and eliminate 2 or 3 preseason games. I don't know if that works, so.
Play-in it's interesting because I've been part of that in Europe. Like we've had tournaments go on through the year, like kind of Champions League stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it flies here. And I think, again, there's so much history with hockey to change it. I think you get into a situation as what if you're playing your in-season tournament and Leon Draisaitl separates his shoulder in it. You're like, why did we do this? It becomes a spot. And even in the NBA, I think with that play-in tournament, you saw certain, they changed the lineup a little bit, right? So if they were out of it, it didn't mean as much. I've said what I think the NHL should do. They'll never do it, but they need to lower the amount of regular season games. I think the sweet spot's somewhere low 60s because we've all seen those games from the middle of January to middle of February, especially if the team is out. They are not competitive and not fun to watch, and people are paying good money to watch these games. I think with that amount of playing time, that amount of rest, you're getting way better hockey throughout that whole time, and the games mean more.
I think if NHL teams were smart, they'd sign a lot of PTOs, bring in a lot of those cleaner guys, and just roll with them for the first 5-6 games.
Yeah.
If you have to meet a quota of 8, those guys count towards it because they're NHL guys.
That's what they
like a Mike Hoffman will count because he's got how many games?
Well, I think that's why they signed him in the first place. And, the thing, Dermott could have been the same type of thing, but actually he's making a better case for himself. There's a guy. That's the advantage of it. Maybe you get more of these guys and go, hey, there might be something there with this player.
Yeah. It was sad to see yesterday. Hopefully all these guys that we're talking about, the Tkachuks, the Stutzles, the Celebrinis, they're all good to go for the start of the season. Hopefully it's nothing too serious like we saw with Patrik Laine, which
it's not as bad as we thought.
It's not as bad as we thought. It's 2 to 3 months, and I think the Canadians would take that instead of going, the 5-6 months route like they did with their young defensemen. Oilers in action today. They're in Seattle to take on the Kraken. 8 p.m. Mountain Time on Oilers Plus. Like I mentioned earlier, Tom Gazzola and I will have the Oil Stream Pregame Show starting at 7.
Wow.
But no post-game show tonight. But Friday we'll have pre and post to wrap up the preseason. We get going for real next Wednesday as the Edmonton Oilers open up against the Winnipeg Jets. These guys were skating this morning.
Are you scared about your first...
Not at all.
Volley into the... You haven't done it in a while, man.
No, it's been a while. That's true, and I know everybody's expecting fire, but that's got to come naturally, right? Like the Oilers got to go on a 4-game losing streak to bring the Latino heat out.
Like you, don't go nuts. You don't need you getting injured in preseason too.
We don't need to go like Dusty did today when someone suggested a Bouchard trade.
Oh my gosh.
He absolutely lost it. We're all hanging out there in the kind of the chill zone, and we just heard him go crazy. And it was quite interesting. These guys skated, so they're probably not playing. Corey Perry, Vasily Podkolzin, Ty Emberson, and Troy Stetcher along with Calvin Pickard. Does Emberson surprise you he's not playing?
Yeah, but how many games has he played?
He's played about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But he hasn't played with Nurse. That's my main thing.
Wow. We'll see.
Might not mean anything. I mean, I know we're talking about this left side. It's not the left side. It's the right side, and the 4 guys that got there battling are all third pairing defensemen. So someone's once again going to have to play higher than they should. And it's the same problem they had last year. And you're making me miss Cody Ceci and Vinny Desharnais. For that, I am not happy about. But it looks like Ty Emberson's going to get the first shot. And tonight I'm intrigued to see how Dermott does, how Mr. Josh Brown does, how Mr. Troy Stetcher does, because I think all guys are going to get a serious look. Stetcher's been good. I think Dermott's been good. I think Josh Brown needs to really elevate his game, but it sounds like he's going to continue to get that third pairing spot with Kulak. And Grubauer is going to get the full game for the Kraken. It's another good test for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, no, as you progress through the slog of the preseason here, the team starts implementing more NHLers, and I think it gets a little bit safer out there with more NHLers. You know,
they get it, right?
Yeah, you don't have as many guys trying to make a name for themselves, so to speak.
Headhunting, yeah.
Just, I mean, it is a lot safer, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to it because you'll have a very experienced Kraken team who I think are going to be quite good this year. But again, let's just watch the D. Hopefully no one, at this point, I'm just hope no one gets injured.
No one gets hurt. Exactly.
Yeah. On both sides. I think it's crazy.
And I think both teams, like you said, now that they're more NHL veteran lineups, I think both sides are like, let's play the game, but let's not be stupid.
Yeah.
And get out of here, and we're all good to go.
We used to, like, in a lot of times if you were playing, I remember the preseason tournament was in Calgary back in the day, and we had some old vets that would kind of basically in a warm-up negotiate the peace treaty, right? Like, and just go, okay, we're here for a couple days. Let's meet on, well, back then in Calgary, was it Electric Ave? Is that what they called it?
Sure.
We're going to meet on Electric Ave afterwards. We want to, we don't want to be spending 6 hours in a dental chair before that. So let's just keep it fair, keep it clean.
We got to get to break because we're going to bring in Dan Ralph to talk some CFL, an interesting weekend in the CFL, especially for the Edmonton Elks. But Lars Weiss says Struddy must be having a bad hair day if he's going phone only. He doesn't. VR Montenegro says he doesn't want us to see the hairline. Rusty Shackleford says more Struddy makes for a great day on EST. He's such a popular guy. Let's keep those thumbs up. We're 20 minutes in. We're at 27. No reason why we can't hit 100. Keep the text coming in at 780-218-9999 and on the nasty chat. And don't forget the EST Flyaway to LA presented by the 780s coming up in the second hour of the show. So stay tuned for that. But coming up next, it's Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press as we go around the CFL. Here is Zach with a sports update.
Welcome to the VIP.
The Oilers play the Kraken in preseason tonight. Join Hernan Salas and Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show, which goes live at 7 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Other games see the Flames playing the Jets, Preds meeting the Hurricanes, and the Panthers battling the Lightning. In the CFL, the BC Lions have acquired Joshua Antwi from the Alouettes for a third-round pick. Antwi has been an Alouette his entire career, recording a career high of 600 yards in 2022. Day 2 of MLB wildcard action has the Tigers and Astros scoreless in the third, while the Royals face the Orioles. Mets visit the Brewers, and the Padres host the Braves. Just after the break, it's Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press joining EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road. Park Mazda does.
.124 Wednesday afternoon, Oiler game day. They're in Seattle to take on the Kraken. 8 o'clock. Tommy and myself will have the Oil Stream Pregame Show starting at 7 p.m. No post-game show, but that will return on Friday, and then it's full go next Wednesday when the Oilers open up against the Winnipeg Jets for the opening of the season. Gage, good news on Celebrini. Just reported that he's day-to-day with a lower body injury, so it doesn't look like it's going to be anything serious, and that's great news for the Sharks and their fans.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm to fans all over. By all accounts, this is going to be a very exciting player, a dynamic, fast, gets you to tune in to a team that
no one wanted to watch last year.
Yeah, the only reason I watched it was because of Eklund, because, again, another kid that I knew as a baby. So, you want to see how these guys can make a difference. There probably wouldn't have been a lot of eyeballs on the Chicago Blackhawks if Connor Bedard's not on that team, right? Like he makes things a little bit more interesting. So yeah, you want your stars to be part of games because they make special plays that bring people out of their seats, right? Like that's the beauty of Edmonton. I think we're a little bit spoiled because still to this day, when Connor gets the puck and starts winding it up, people start. There's a buzz in the building when that happens, right? It's just that buzz when the superstars do something. So hopefully, I'm glad to hear that everything's okay with Celebrini.
That's great. We're just ahead of Dan Ralph here from the Canadian Press. Surveyor Brett says the EST Hangout Guest of the Year, Jason Strudwick. Says Shagar needs to give that guy a raise. That's from Dr. Nutsy Dielson. And Lars Weiss says this is as close as it gets to getting Jack Michaels to come on the EST. Like Struddy is popular, but we're going to switch gears here quickly as we're going to go around the CFL with Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press. Dan, thank you for taking the time to join us this afternoon. How you doing? You're on the road. Oh, no. Same issues. We'll get him here in about a couple seconds or so. Dan? Dan, are you there?
Yeah.
How you doing, Dan? You're on the road. You're in the Hammer? Hello, Dan?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? It's Hernan and Joaquin here. How are things? Are you? Yeah, is he? Okay, we're just going to wait a bit here, and we're going to get him on. It keeps cutting in and out. Apologies for that, but having some issues with the phone and connecting with Dan Ralph.
No worries.
Elks, big game?
I don't know, man. I feel a little bit let down by the Elks, right? Obviously, there's still a chance.
Yeah.
but it's very slim. Very slim. And, I mean, it looks like Bethel Thompson's going to be he's going to be under center. He
spoke with the media yesterday.
Yeah.
They're going to roll with him, and whether you agree or not.
I don't know. It was just so close this year, you know, and that's a good sign to come. This is the important thing is to, you know, this is when you really take in the stay in the moments sort of thing. Try to control what you can control and just go from there.
Yeah, I know for sure. Just go out there and play. And they've had some success with against the Riders, so we'll see if MBT can lead them to a victory and keep their playoff hopes alive. Zach, are we good?
We should be.
Okay. Dan, are you there? Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys loud and clear. How about me?
Yes, perfect. When we talked earlier, you told me you were traveling today. Where are you going? You're in the Hammer right now?
Yeah, just on my way back. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's get to it here. I mean, Dan, you know the story here in Edmonton, MBT or Trey Ford, and I'll speak for myself, but I'm kind of sick of talking about it. It's going to be MBT again on Saturday. Where do you stand on the quarterback situation here in Edmonton? Do you think they should be going to the young Trey Ford, or do you agree with the Elks staff going with the veteran MBT here?
I would like. Geez, I'm going to pick my words carefully here, but I really like to see Trey can do. I mean, we saw a bit of it last year, and it just, I don't know, maybe it's me, but every time I see him play, he does something that gets me excited about the young man moving forward. But, you know, maybe football's a results-oriented business. I get that. And I get that, you know, Edmonton is 5-10, and the bottom line is to win. But I don't know. I know I've seen up close and personal what McLeod Bethel Thompson can do. Mm-hmm. You know, he's got a Grey Cup ring from his 2 times in Toronto. One of them as the starter, and you know, I think his resume in Canadian football is a pretty solid one. But I wonder sometimes if, you know, you keep flipping. Continuity is a big thing in football, and you know, I just would like to see Trey get an honest opportunity, and you know, that's just me, but so.
Dan, looking at the season for the Edmonton Elks, I mean, it started off unfortunate for the Elks with the 3 walk-offs. Then they started to turn things around a little bit and giving the city of Edmonton and their fans a little bit more positive vibes moving forward. And the possibilities for making the postseason, they're still there, although an outside chance. But just the games this weekend and the way that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers just treated them like a cat with a ball of yarn, it seemed like. Are the Edmonton Elks a team that are played up to their were they a playoff team that just ran into some unfortunate bounces, or are we just seeing a team that needs a little bit more growth and a little bit more experience and maybe looking forward to next year and then possibly making a push to be a playoff contender?
Well, I mean, I thought when Edmonton signed McLeod Bethel Thompson that he was the missing piece on offense. I thought the defense would be the thing to talk about this year too. And I don't know, maybe I'll be honest, I haven't seen every Edmonton game. I've seen them play a number of times this year, and I just have concerns about the lack of consistency on defense, especially at a time when Chris Jones was there. Defense was his forte. He was a defensive guru, and yet we never did see the defense like take command of the field and sort of really establish itself as one of the league's best. And I just think sometimes it puts the onus on on the offense to score more points. Now, I've been pleasantly surprised by Edmonton's run game this year, and I just, I would like to see a little bit more consistency on offense. But I thought they were a playoff team. I honestly, anybody who'd listen, I thought I had put Edmonton as my team to finish third, and I just thought that McLeod would give them the presence, the veteran leadership on offense, and that the defense would be a year wiser and a year under Chris's leadership and be able to execute his game plan. And maybe the change has set them back a little bit, but I just haven't seen the consistency. And I guess I can make that argument, the consistency in both the offense and defense, truth be told.
Well, that's fair. Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press joining us here on EST Afternoons. Dan, what's led to kind of the consistent play of the Hamilton Tiger Cats? They're in a bit of a roll. They're also a long shot to make the playoffs, but is it as simple as saying Chris Jones has really turned that defense around there in Hamilton with the exceptional play of Bo Levi Mitchell?
Yeah, well, it's funny. We were in Hamilton today, and for the last 4 games, Bo Levi has been wearing coveralls to the game on game day, and so we spent a whole lot of time talking about overalls and the fact that they're 4-0 since he started wearing coveralls. But I don't think seriously the addition of Chris can be overlooked. I think he's given that defense a solid basis. They've been playing better on defense, and I think that with Bo's been the leading passer and touchdown thrower in the CFL this year, but the semblance of a defense, being able to do things on defense. I mean, Chris Jones's defenses bend, but they don't break. And over the last 4 games, every game's been tight, and that defense has done something to help the offense put it in a position so that late in the game it can either win it with a walk-off or a late touchdown or force overtime. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that their defense has been playing well since Chris Jones's arrival in Hamilton earlier this year.
It was just a few weeks ago that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Edmonton Elks were considered the top 2 teams playing in the CFL. Now, after this back-to-back games, seeing how good the Blue Bombers actually look, is this just a veteran team getting it right, getting to this point of the year, and getting ready to possibly take a run at another championship here? And are they your kind of favorites to win going into for the rest of the season, till the rest of the season, going into the playoffs to win another Grey Cup?
Well, one of, I would say. I still am bullish on Montreal, and I'd like to see those 2 teams play again. But it's hard not to think that. They had that brutal start, and never did you ever get the impression that there was panic or finger pointing or all the things that you associate with teams that are struggling. They seem to just believe in the system, believe in the grind, and believe in themselves to the point where we're going to keep doing the same things that we have been doing, and it's working for them, right? And Zach Collaros has not had a Zach Collaros MVP type year, but he threw 6 touchdowns last week, which is a career high. And I don't think I'm going on a limb here by saying that this is a guy who, will garner Hall of Fame consideration after he retires. So, and Brady Oliveira's Brady Oliveira. Dalton Schoen's been hurt, but, Kenny Lawler stepped up. Ontario Wilson has really stepped up. And, I think you got to give the Bombers front office, Kyle Walters, some credit too, because every year they've had to make some tough decisions regarding roster and who to keep and who not to keep. And every year they make a tough decision regarding a veteran, and all they keep doing is winning. So I think you're solid from the head coach on down. You've got a GM who knows what he's doing and how to take care of things, and you've got a veteran core that just does not get rattled, good, bad, or indifferent. And I think it took a while for them to get it right. They got it right, and now they're on a really nice roll.
Dan, thank you for taking the time. I know you're traveling right now. Enjoy the games. This weekend should be an interesting one, especially here in Edmonton, as they need that win desperately. But we'll chat as we get closer to the playoffs here. Safe travels.
Thank you. Look forward to it. Take care.
That's Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press. Connection wasn't the best when you're on the highway there and all that. So
that's going to be an interesting game, though. On Friday, Winnipeg, Hamilton. That's.
I keep saying Winnipeg's due, but obviously they're not.
No. Well, what Dan said, that it's basically a veteran team.
Yeah.
What he says at the beginning of the year, no panic. Although things looked bleak and things, where it was completely opposite here. And I mean, we're not in the market, so maybe there was probably a little rumblings in Winnipeg, but here there was playing, it was just there was some calm, cool collectiveness from what I gather from Dan, that the Blue Bombers knew by the end of the year, they knew they were going to be there or in the mix.
Yeah, they weren't too worried about it.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, there's a team that I'm looking at right now that they're not playing their best. I think they're going to be in the playoffs, and I think they're going to make a run, is the BC Lions. I think they're going to find some wins in these last couple of games and make a run. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because I don't think they're as bad as, like, that game last week when they lost to Hamilton, and they should have not lost that game.
No.
Like, that one blew my mind. But again, if Edmonton loses and BC wins this weekend, and we'll know because they play Friday against Calgary, the Elks will be officially eliminated. But if the Elks win, they stay alive regardless of what BC does. So they will be 3 points back of the Riders at that point. BC's home to Calgary, Hamilton's home to Winnipeg. And Dan did bring up a good point, also saying that the Elks running games kind of surprised him. They have 3 guys over 500 yards rushing. Justin Rankin, who leads with 564, which is bizarre. Like, he's played 4 less games than the other 2 guys. His average is 7.8 per carry. Kevin Brown at 522, and of course Javon Leake at 506, but he's missed the last 2 games due to injury. Sounds like he's going to be back because he is practicing with the squad this week. But that was Dan Ralph from the Canadian Press. Coming up next, we'll get to Hernan's World here on EST Afternoons. But first, here's Zachticum with a sports update.
The Oilers play the Kraken in preseason action. Join Hernan Salas and Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, with the shows starting at 7. Sharks rookie forward Macklin Celebrini is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Celebrini suffered the injury last night when he crashed into the end boards on a rush towards the net against the Utah HC. Other games see the Flames against the Jets, Preds facing the Hurricanes, and the Panthers battling the Lightning. In the CFL, the BC Lions have acquired Jeshurun Antwi from the Alouettes for a 3rd-round pick. Antwi has played with the Alouettes for the past 4 seasons, recording a career high of 600 yards in 2022. Day 2 of MLB wildcard action has the Tigers-Astros scoreless in the 4th, with the Royals facing the Orioles, Mets visiting the Brewers, and the Padres hosting the Braves. Just after the break, it's Hernan's World here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Come get your game on at The Ranch. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at The Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your buck is always The Ranch. The Ranch Golf and Country Club. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton, 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands on. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
.143, welcome back to Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. EST Afternoons, Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and Zachticum is behind the camera. We'll get to this text. It's not impressed with us. Brelando, after that interview, I can see why you guys weren't in the staff meeting. Well, maybe we should be in the staff meeting.
Maybe.
Yeah, unfortunately, the connection wasn't very good, and we did cut it shorter. Yeah, those are tough, but thanks to Dan Ralph for joining us while he's driving from Hamilton back to the good old T-Dot there and talked a little bit of the CFL. Hopefully the static and all that wasn't too bad. But let's get to Hernan's world here, Gager.
Let's do it.
Viva la raza! Latino Heat.
You know where that came from? That's Eddie Guerrero's intro. Yeah. You just have to do a few edits there. And,
that's
where I got the name Latino Heat, and the listener suggested, hey, use some of this. He can't play the middle part because he says, like, I cheat, I steal, and he says a bunch of shady stuff.
You probably could use that still, but whatever.
No. So Hernan's World, and it is brought to you by the Garrison Curling Club. If you and your team are looking for a fun and exciting way to build some chemistry, look no further than the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Curling Club located on CFB Edmonton. The Garrison Curling Club offers 6 sheets of ice, a full-service bar with kitchen, and includes all equipment needed for corporate bonspiels. And the Garrison Curling Club is run by Nasties. As an added bonus, they will offer 10% off ice rentals to all EST listeners. Email curling at edmgolf.com and mention EST to book your corporate bond spiel today. And yesterday we were talking about the great, well, it's not great. I guess great, it depends who you talk to, but we were talking about Mr. McMahon's documentary.
Yep.
Which is, I think, a 6-part series. And there's a lot of good ones out there. If you include all the 30 for 30s, all the Untolds. Today we're going to go with, give me your top 2-3 best sports documentaries. Chime in on the Nasty Chat as well. Or hit us up on the text line at 780-218-9999. Do you want to go first here, Gager?
Maybe we'll just go back and forth because I got a couple. I'm not sure who fits into my third one. And these are, I tried to get something a little bit more recent. But my favorite one, and I watched this way back when as a younger lad in Kitsilano, but the When We Were Kings documentary. It's the Muhammad Ali in Zaire with George Foreman.
Yeah.
That document, and it was great. And it's really long, but it gives you a glimpse into Ali and Foreman, how he's basically hated, and they almost canceled the fight because Foreman got cut, and they finally got it. And this whole lead up, and the one part, and I hate giving some away, but they talked about Ali in the dressing room before, and everyone thought it was like a march to the gallows, I think is how they referenced it. And all of a sudden, Ali realizing this and the importance of having your team around me, and he just starts going, "We're gonna dance." And he goes, "We're gonna dance." And by the end of it, everyone's like, "We're gonna dance." And he like brought everyone else up that he was gonna dance and beat this brooding like George Foreman, this mountain of a man that was just destroying people in his wake. Everyone thought this was going to be the end for Ali, and then you see the go full rope-a-dope, and just the pictures, the still frames from that fight when Ali hits him and George is on the way down, and he could have hit him once more, which probably would have ruined the whole aesthetic of it, but he's just cocked, and perfect sports documentary.
I'm going to go with one of my favorites. It's the 30 for 30, the two Escobars. I don't know if you ever watched that. It's the lives of soccer player Andres Escobar and drug lord Pablo Escobar.
Really?
Yeah, man. It's about the 1994 World Cup because Andres Escobar is on the Colombian national team, and they're like rolling everybody in qualifying.
Yeah.
So they're going to the U.S. as the top South American team, but Pablo Escobar, he got killed before that. So then all the cartels started taking over, like different factions, and they were threatening the players in the U.S. on who to play, who not to play. They were getting messages on their TV, and they lost every game at the World Cup.
Oh, no way.
And then Andres Escobar, who was on the team, he scored on his own net, and then he was killed in Colombia like a few months later at a bar.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it is fantastic. It's called The Two Escobars. I don't know how many people watch it because I know it's a soccer documentary, but it is wild. Like, and because you know the show Narcos and all the story of Pablo Escobar. This is how, like, when he went away, like everybody just ran wild and did whatever they wanted. Because at least when he was there was a little bit of order.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, it is great. Zach, you got one?
Yeah. See, I was thinking about a few of them, and I like watching my sports movies, but usually they're Hollywoodicized. The only one that I could think of that's a pure documentary is like the Connor McDavid one, Whatever It Takes. That was a short one, I know. It was like 45 minutes long when he had that supposed like
the magic
career-ending injury. It was a crazy injury, and how he just worked his way through it with rehab was insane. And then Dusty's not going to like it, but I liked Last Dance. Last Dance was pretty interesting to me.
Oh, I think The Last Dance on everybody's list.
Yeah, I got that as number 2. How do you not? It was, it was perfect timing. Everyone was locked in their homes and stuff, so you couldn't do anything, and
that's true. Yeah,
coming on every Sunday. I remember every Sunday night, couldn't wait to watch because Jordan was larger than life. When that was who everyone looked up to. I think from my age group playing sports and stuff. You didn't even have to play sports, but at a time when social media wasn't that prevalent throughout the world, this guy still couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That shows you how popular Michael Jordan was. He was as close to Michael Jackson as you probably could have got.
And you're right about the timing of it. It's right when COVID hit. Like, it was just the perfect time because no one had anything to do.
No, yeah, you didn't have anything to do.
But when I watch that show, it's great, like, to see his greatness, but just how much of a kind of a D he was.
Yeah, that was because it went from everyone loving Michael, the Gatorade the commercial, "Be Like Mike." Like, I remember that was everywhere, and then you kind of saw how he didn't like the spotlight at all. He didn't like being like loved and stuff. All this guy wanted to do was play basketball and win championships. That's it.
I remember there's one episode where they won a championship and there was a guy that was on his team that didn't play a lot and he was crying. He's like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, that's just straight. So you're going to go with that one then? You know which one I like a lot, and I just started watching this year because we had about 3 or 4 of these guys at Elks Camp in my time there, was Last Chance U. So it's about JUCO teams, right? So most of the players that go to these schools, they either don't have the grades or they got in trouble in a high-end college, right? They got caught, it was assault or drugs or anything like that. So they all end up here. And these coaches, man, the way they talk to these guys, everything they go through, like, I don't know if you've ever watched a Last Chance U. I recommend you do because you'll be blown away how the coaches don't get knocked out every day.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll definitely watch that. My third top one, and this one just, I'm not interested in this sport at all. Never want to come close to this sport, but I was riveted, and I distinctly remember because it was late at night, and I thought, I'll give this a try. But it's called Free Solo. and it's about that guy that went up Yosemite and the plotting of it. He free climbed it. My heart was, if you looked at my Apple Watch, it was probably about 150 the whole time. This guy, and you saw the documentary people like, and they're talking, I don't really want to do this because if we film it, this is basically a snuff film that we're doing. Like they didn't want him to do this thing. And you're just on the edge of your seat the whole time watching this guy kind of plot his way to climb, what's it called? El Chapo? I think it's called El Chapo. The side of that's a sheer face. And there was one spot where he didn't know how he's going to traverse this one area and whether to jump but it was amazing how he wrote down every little thing. So I go thumb, forefinger on 5. Like he knew his exact route. Yeah. And man, no one was happier than I was when that guy got to the top. Because he just went down and did more finger exercises. Like that would have been it for me.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Drive to Survive.
Everyone knows that, but I don't. That's not a documentary. That's just life.
That's life. Yeah, that's because it's different because some of these are kind of those shows like Receiver and they're not a documentary.
I mean it is I find that is it a sports show? Let us know. 780-218-9999. What do you think of these Netflix kind of sporting shows that come out that kind of review the previous season? That's what I mean. I find that they're just a recapper, like the more than anything else. I granted they are sports documentaries, but I find that they're not in the purest sense a sports doc where it's just one moment in time or the life of a certain. Senna, I would put up there. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's F1 as well, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go Dark Side of the Ring as a old school wrestling, and those are straight documentaries, and they're fascinating stories. There's so many good ones, Gager.
You can't believe that's true.
Like a guy that got shot backstage. I can't remember. He was in season 1. Remember that? Yeah. I was like, what's going on here?
The one guy got stabbed like 50 times and then came out of the back. It's.
The guy that used to cut his forehead?
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember all the names because there's like a lot of old school ones, but I know I think they just dropped season 6 or 7. I watch them all, Gage. I think they're absolutely fantastic. We got a few here on the Nasty Chat. Adam Zeal says that Hillsborough 30 for 30 is also a top-notch football doc. I got to watch that one. I have not watched that one. VR Montenegro says, be like Mike. Spency 5 cents. He says the Bo Jackson 30 for 30 was very good. Untold Crimes and Penalties talk about the Danbury Trashers was also very good for Hawk. That's a good one.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
When the mob boss buys a hockey team for his kid.
Yeah. The Bob Probert documentary was awesome and sad from Krager. I haven't watched that one. I should watch that. Tube Sock says, if I'm not a basketball guy, will I enjoy The Last Dance? I've watched other documentaries that I find good, even though I'm not a fan of the sport. Tube Socks, it's like 8 parts too. It's a long series, but it's really cool. It goes through the whole dominance of the Bulls and Michael Jordan's career from the early 80s all the way through to the late 90s. So yeah, it's one of the number ones. If you look up best sports documentaries, it pops up right at the top every single time.
Yeah, that one's very good. I don't think you need to be a fan, but the Danbury Trashers one was very good. Pedro's Jerry Curl says the Reggie Miller versus the Knicks 30 for 30 was fantastic. That's my era. Like I grew up Knicks fans in the early 90s, so I definitely on board with that one. Matt at the Garrison says Free Solo was good. Agreed. Scary.
It's very scary. You want to see another one that'll really move you? Is that The Longest Breath on Netflix about that free diving crap? That's. That scared the bejesus out of me, and it's weird because those certain documents you think are going in one direction and something it goes completely the other way. It's not like you start watching that thing. It's although the first scene's quite disturbing, but you kind of get into it and you can't really even imagine how it ends. But it's a really, really good documentary.
This one says from Jason and Leduc, his 3 are Drive to Survive, Senna, and The Dark Side of the Ring. We've mentioned all of those already, so it's a good one. There's a few other ones here I just want to get to. The Untold ones are good. Did you watch the Sign Stealer?
I fell asleep, but I watched the first bit. The guy is like,
he's brilliant.
Brilliant, right? So I got to rewatch that. Yeah, I fell asleep halfway through.
And Beckham was excellent for me.
So yeah, that's another one. I watched the first episode and stuff. That was I got to watch that one. There are some good ones, man. I love sports.
There's great, because I know I was talking to Zach and he said Moneyball. I said, well, that's a movie, but it should be a documentary because it's a true story, obviously, but it's not an official documentary. But I know what you were saying. That's my favorite movie of all time.
Really, your favorite of all time? Well,
Wow.
I can see why. Like it is really good. It's super crazy just to see the story, and the acting's amazing.
The book's amazing. Well, it's up there with Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where if it's on, I have a hard time not finishing it. Spency 5 Centsy, Bo Jackson 30 for 30 is one of the best ever. Like it is. I find when I watch that, that's one I'll watch whenever it's on too. I find that I feel sad because we don't know what really would have happened with Bo Jackson. He was so dominant.
And I read his book, The Last Folk Hero, by Jeff Pearlman, who's written amazing books. But he was great. He did, but he never had the average. He never had do you know what I mean? Like, I know, but I'm not denying his greatness, but the stats never were there for him.
But he was, I think if he could have done it.
A unicorn?
Yeah. There'll never be another athlete like that. Like they say he ran the fastest 440 of all time, right? Yeah.
And a two-sport athlete.
Yeah.
And he was an interesting guy, though. If you read about his childhood,
yeah.
And then when he was a pro, he didn't like media.
Well, and then the whole thing getting recruited, and they kind of sewered him, right? They made him stupid rules, which we should get into on one of these episodes, and then the whole NCAA, how that all works, and becoming a professional and not being able to attend college or having to sit out a year. It's absolutely ridiculous, but they essentially invited him down on a jet, and because of that, he lost his eligibility to play in the NCAA because he was considered a gift. So just absolutely horrible.
Another one that's good that I recommend is called Wrestlers. Al Snow is in it, and he's running a little wrestling faction there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty good. And just seeing what these guys go through for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And the latest one I saw was the Hope Solo. Remember the goalkeeper for the U.S. national team?
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, and we were watching it, and it was almost like, I like her now because you find out
I don't like her.
Yeah. No, but trust me, you're going to be like, I like her now because she goes through a lot of unnecessary things, and she was fighting just for them to get paid more, and she was just... She kind of got done wrong there for a long time.
Okay.
So I think it will change your mentality on her for sure. VR Montenegro says, Bo knows Pro Star cereal. Bo Jackson was just, unreal.
Yeah.
Just an unreal. Read the book if you haven't. It's by Jeff Pearlman, who's written a lot of great sports books, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's 2:00. We got to get to break. That was the first hour. Big thanks to Dan Ralph. Connection wasn't the best, but he gave us some good stuff on the Elks and looking ahead to the remainder of the CFL season. Coming up in hour 2, EST Flyaway to LA will be coming up shortly, and we'll be joined by the one and only Jason Strudwick. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
The Oilers meet the Kraken in preseason action. Join Hernan Salas and Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show at 7 right here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Sharks rookie forward Macklin Celebrini is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Celebrini suffered the injury last night when he crashed into the end boards on a rush towards the net against the Utah HC. Other games see the Flames against the Jets, Preds facing the Hurricanes, and the Lightning battling the Panthers. Out in the CFL, the BC Lions have acquired Joshua Antwi from the Alouettes for a third-round pick. Antwi has played his entire career with the Alouettes, recording a career high of 600 yards in 2022. Day 2 of MLB wildcard action has the Tigers and Astros locked at zeros midway through the 5th, with the Royals facing the Orioles, Mets visiting the Brewers, and the Padres hosting the Braves later today. EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Back for hour 2 on EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and Zachticum here joining you. We're just ahead of the EST Flyaway to LA presented by the 780. And we're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout at 780-454-4536. And check out our guy Bruce. Does great work, Gager, like always. Keep the comments coming on the Nasty Chat. Hit us up at 780-218-9999. Gager, if I were to ask you,
no
points for Bouchard this year, what would you say?
God, I think we talked about this. I think I set the over under at 82.5.
You would go under?
I'd go over.
Oh, you'd go over.
Yeah.
So you're seeing him closer to 90.
Yeah. No, he's not unlike. There was a few things that really caught my eye, especially in that final series, was a very mature Evan Bouchard. And I mean, you play that long and you play against the top tiered guys for, go through that whole playoffs. Your game's going to be at a certain level that it's just different. And he seemed to keep getting better all the way through on both sides of the puck, right? And I just think another year after that year that he just had, you're just beaming with confidence right now. So and you saw it. You saw on that power play. Like he's with two of the best players in the league, and he's looking off Connor McDavid sometimes and Leon Draisaitl, which a lot of times you don't get. Like you remember back when he first was on that power play, he was scared to shoot. Now he's got even more confidence. Man, it's he's scary, and his ability to now get the puck through and beat goalies from distance. It's I set it over. I think he's closer to 90 points this year.
Okay, so he scored 18 last year. Can you see Bouchard here in the next couple of years hitting 25 to 30 goals?
Something has to happen for a D-man to get close to that like 30 mark.
You just need a heater.
Well, you need a lot off skates. Maybe a couple guys trying to clear it and put it past their own goalie. Like you have to get lucky a little bit. Could I see him scoring 25?
Like 30 is a stretch.
30 that's a lot, dude. Gosh, I would say 20.5, and I think I picked the under.
You'd go because 18 is still pretty damn impressive.
It's unreal.
I'm just trying to look up here just defensemen last year, Gager. I just want to see who had the top goals. Let's see here. Okay, so I got it right here. I just got to flip it back to the top. Nope, that's not working either. Okay, so Roman Josi had 23 to lead the NHL. Cale Makar had 21. Mackenzie Weegar and Rasmus Dahlin had 20, and then Bouchard rounded up the top 5 with 18.
And Mackenzie Weegar and Rasmus Dahlin, like he went nuts off the hop too. Like that was
caught fire.
Yeah, and that was early in the season, and still you'd think, oh my gosh, what's he going to do? And he still hovers around that, that 20 goal mark. So that's why, I probably say that it's more along the lines of 19 and a half or 20 and a half for Bouchard, but I think he finishes less than 20.
I look at it this way because I know Dusty and Trev were talking about it, and I think Trev said he can see him getting close to 30 just because of the power play of the Edmonton Oilers. But for you, eventually, like this power play has been historically great for the last 2 years. Like it's gonna dip, isn't it? Eventually, you don't think so?
Eventually, yeah. But I still remember when the Capitals were just feasting on teams and they were just a juggernaut. Couldn't get it done in the playoffs. They were running into Sidney Crosby on a regular basis. But that's when Ovi was just going nuts, and Backstrom and Yoshi and Kuznetsov. They made teams look really dumb on the PK.
Yeah.
And that's where this Edmonton Oilers power play is. Like, just watch another game. Watch another game and watch their power play compared to the Oilers seem to have the puck the whole time. Like, it's really amazing. You get spoiled by watching because that's how you think all power plays should look. But I think even look at this talent that the Pittsburgh Penguins could put up there, and it was terrible. They had a horrendous power play last year. So I think there's a few more years in this, and as long as you have Connor and Leon, when Leon's got that sweet spot where it's such a weird place to take shots from that you have to guard against. That with Bush up top being the right hand shot on that side, you have Leon way down. It creates so many issues for PKs.
It's almost like sometimes it's so easy that they're trying to pass the puck into the net because when we get frustrated, we're like, shoot the damn puck.
I know, and I do think that. When because it does go cold once in a while. I think at times it's only natural that you're trying to force it a little bit too much, but that's when you really simplify it. Like some coaches, obviously I wasn't on a power play, but I saw a lot of them.
Yeah,
it was 2 to 3 passes and a shot, right? So, and usually it was like 3 passes and a shot. So you're trying to work it around to get that one shot, but on that third guy, everyone knew the puck was going to the net, right? So you'd adjust accordingly. So then guys would go one guy to the net, looking for rebounds, and it would just start simplifying things a little bit more. And once you get that kind of chaos, all those other parts start opening up, those backdoor plays. But
the last defenseman who scored 30-plus, Mike Green in 2008, 2009, he scored 31 goals, 42 assists, 73 points.
Crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
And then you go all the way back to 92, 93 when Kevin Hatcher did it. Like Kevin Hatcher, Gager. Like it is unreal how long it's been. So, I mean.
Again, this is what I mean. You look at those years. Wasn't Adrian Aucoin up there one year too? I want to say Oak was there too for a little bit. But it just seemed like everything they touched went in the net. They got lucky. It was off shin pads going in. Like you get at least 6 goals that year that shouldn't have gone in the net. Just for some reason, they pinballed around and found a way to go in. That's the only way you get to 30.
That was Darnell Nurse in the All-Canadian Division year.
Oh, those were snipes. He was.
No, I remember a few goals. He was just throwing them on net, and they were like,
oh yeah,
they had eyes.
Yeah,
right?
they were heat-seeking missiles that time.
Hey, good pull there with Adrian Aucoin in 98, 99 in 82 games. He had 23 goals.
Yeah, he was. Well, I played with I played with Adrian. He was part of Team Canada for a bit, and he was no. He didn't mind telling you how many goals that he scored in the NHL in one year. Yeah, he must have told me like 1,000 times. But
so Evan Bouchard over, what'd you say, 82? Because that's what he had last year.
Yeah, I think he finishes closer to 90 this year.
So he'll be in that Josie.
Yeah.
Was Makar up there? No,
but he was injured for a little bit. I think 76 did he finish with last year? If he's healthy, though, man, that's well, maybe he doesn't get close. Maybe closer to that 80 mark, but. He's just a different level of defenseman.
Does this power play remain this like? Because remember when Barry left, there's some talk that the power play might dip a little bit because Bouchard wasn't getting on. And I know fans at the time were like, "Put Bouchard on there because he had the shot." Where Barry would let go of the shot from time to time, but he was more just making sure
he was a felicitator of the puck a little bit more. But then he had a great shot. Like,
he did.
He should have shot the puck more. Tell you the truth, Hernan, I hope that I think the power play, one of the main things I believe the Oilers should focus on is a second power play unit. And I know
you have the horses.
I think the internal competition of having 2 power plays, the fact that that one group is getting that in a penalty ridden game. You know, a lot of your star players are stagnant sitting on the bench. I think if you get more flow, like what does Nobla do after a penalty kill? He throws out Connor and Leon, right? Because they don't kill. Get them going back in. And I think just with the amount of skill that you can put out there, any other NHL team would die for that type of personnel that you could put out on a second power play unit. I really think there's times when you can start with them, or if things aren't going well with the first group. I mean, if there's 2 icings, I had coaches, if it's down twice, you're off.
And there's nothing wrong with, like, let's say they get 3 power plays and they're not shooting. They're just, it's just not working. There's nothing wrong with Knobloch saying, you know what, I'm sick of you guys. You guys are not doing what you're supposed to. I'm going to go with this second unit to start the next one and the next one.
I just think, and I'm doing it more so from a standpoint of the amount of ice time by the end of the year. It's cumulative, right? Mm-hmm. So it keeps everyone a little bit fresher, way more involved in a game. Chance for other players not named McDavid and Draisaitl to make a mark on a game at this. You have to be the best team, not just have the best players to win. And I think the implementation of a second power play unit this year is very, very important for the Edmonton Oilers.
And I won't go with that. It's because of obviously because of the players they have. But if you look at Pittsburgh, they have a talented 5-man group. You look at Vegas, and they struggled mightily on the power play last year.
And they also have 2 units too, right? Like, what other team in the NHL just has 1 unit like that?
Well, technically the Oilers have 2. They just don't never use because now you can build a good one. You have Ekholm and Nurse on the point because they always run with 2 defensemen, and then you have Skinner, Arvidsson, and pick whoever. Perry.
I mean, you don't even have. You can put Nurse out there. I think for the second power play unit, and
Gleason,
whatever. I mean, it's Arvidsson, Kane when he's back,
Enrique,
Skinner. There's too many weapons. Way too many weapons.
It's going to be interesting to see at the start if he does give that second unit a lot more time, because in previous years, maybe you didn't have the horses to go to a second unit or you didn't feel comfortable. But I think now with the additions of Arvidsson and Skinner and Enrique and Perry, and like you said, when Kane's healthy, you have a unit that you can even split them up if they're 0 for 4 going into the third period and just say, Nuge, Hyman, you're off the first unit. We're going to throw Perry and Skinner on.
Exactly.
And see what works. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But you know what time it is, Gage?
What time is it?
It's time for the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA. Proudly presented by the 780. 780 is a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at the780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport, of course. It's a flight for 2 to LA with hotel and rental car. The trip is December 26th through the 30th. What a trip, eh? Right between Christmas and New Year's. If you win this, you will win tickets to Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and Edmonton at either the Kings or the Ducks. We just have to get confirmation on the NFL game. So the key word today is NFL. You love it, eh?
Maddie, working hard again.
Maddie coming up with these brilliant words. NFL 780-218-9999, and you will qualify for the EST Flyaway to LA. Zachticum will call one of you that texts in. And coming up next, we'll continue the Oiler talk, and we'll talk a little bit of this day in sports history. Lots of Oilers to get there. And Jason Strudwick at 2:40. We'll see you on the other side of the break. But first, here's Zach with a sports update.
The Oilers play the Kraken in preseason action. Join Hernan Salas and Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show at 7, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Sharks rookie forward Macklin Celebrini is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Celebrini suffered the injury last night when crashing into the boards on a rush towards the net against the Utah HC. Other games see the Flames against the Jets, Preds facing the Hurricanes, and the Panthers battling the Lightning. Dolphins pass rusher Jalen Phillips will undergo season-ending knee surgery later today. Phillips was injured in the third quarter of Sunday's game against the Titans in just his 4th appearance since tearing his Achilles in Week 12 of 2023. In the CFL, the BC Lions have acquired Jeshurun Antwi from the Alouettes for a 3rd-round pick. Antwi has played with the Alouettes for the past 4 seasons, recording a career high of 600 yards in 2022. Day 2 of MLB Wild Card action has the Tigers leading the Astros 1-0 in the 6th off a Parker Meadows home run. Later, it's the Royals facing the Orioles, Mets visiting the Brewers, and the Padres hosting the Braves. EST Afternoons continues just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Come get your game on at The Ranch. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at The Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your golfing buck is always The Ranch. The Ranch Golf and Country Club. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
It's 2:22 here on EST Afternoons, Edmonton Sports Talk, static free since 23. Lots of text coming in for the keyword NFL for the EST flyaway to LA. And Zach's just getting someone on the horn here. Our second qualifier, Gager. What a trip, eh?
This is, actually, it was funny because I mentioned that thing with my wife yesterday, and I had it on the show on this morning, and she was like, "Oh, can I win that?" I was like, "Yeah, just go by your old name and change your voice a bit and see what we can do." So
that's what I told the GF too. She just texted me NFL. I'm like, "You can't win. You can't win because I can't win, and you're not going to LA without me." So definitely.
But maybe I can help someone win. Just depends on the size of your suitcase.
So we're just waiting for that. The phone call here as well. We'll get them on the line here with Gager and myself as the EST getaway to LA. It's 2 tickets to Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and the Edmonton hockey team taking on the Kings or Ducks. We just got to wait for the announcement of which day the Rams Cardinals will play. It's either going to be Saturday or Sunday, so one or the other. But that's pretty cool, man. I know people that have been to LA to watch a game, and they say it's outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, just huge buildings. Like the facilities themselves are just unbelievable. And a perfect time to leave. Like that's the perfect. Just to get out of here for a bit.
It's cold.
It's cold. It's really dark. And we're all. I mean, Christmas is over, so you're kind of in that lull, right? That you got this. The only thing I'm really looking forward to there is it getting a little bit brighter at that point.
Brighter, and then like pretty much it's just spending money on your drinks and food and all that because everything else is paid for. Like it's
your New Year's resolutions have come and gone,
and then you come back, and you can party for New Year's.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Zach, we good to go?
Yes, we got Dan on the line as a qualifier.
Dan, congratulations. Who would you take if you win this trip to good old LA in December? Dan, are you there? No.
No, Dan.
Dan, do we have issues with this phone line here? We'll give it a minute or so. I'd like to hear if who he would take and if he's ever been to watch at the Copper and Blue somewhere outside of Edmonton. Just give us a thumbs up, Zach, if you have him here. Like to get Dan on.
Have you ever been to a game in LA or?
I've never watched the Oilers in another city.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How crazy
I
is that?
have.
Really?
I was playing from the time that I was watching.
Yeah.
I've watched them in a lot of cities, actually, when you really think about it.
Yeah, that's good. No, I haven't. I've never been to an NFL game. I've watched the Raptors here, but it was an exhibition. But I've never been to an NBA game. Dan, are you there?
I am. How are you guys?
I'm good. Congratulations. You've qualified for the EST flyaway to LA. If you win this trip, who would you take with you?
Well, I would certainly ask the better half if she would be interested in going, but I suspect she would turn me down. She's not the biggest sports fan, so I'd put it out to the buddies and see who had the best offer.
Yeah, the highest bidder, The highest bidder. Have you ever watched the Orange and Blue outside of Edmonton?
I have in Anaheim a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
We Disney trip. We made a stop there to watch the Oilers as well. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome, Dan. Well, congratulations and best of luck as the trip will run through December 26th through December 30th. It's flight for 2 to LA with hotel and rental car. And you'll watch 3 games: Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and Edmonton at Anaheim or LA. Best of luck, Dan.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Dan. All right. Good luck.
I think the other half would want to go to LA.
I mean, even if you're not a sports fan, first time at a NFL game, it's going to be like, wow, what is going on
It's
here?
the experience.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't even have to pay attention. You can be on your phone and
you're
do
taking pictures and
videos and all that.
Yeah, walking
even
around.
NBA, man. Yeah,
it's a whole different spectacle. NBA games, the music's going during the play, all that stuff. Sporting events are great, man.
That's what's cool is I love the NBA, the way the game vibes.
Oh yeah,
when they did it here, like just the mascot of the Raptors he was half the entertainment, man. And they have like a dance group, and it's just I thought it was fantastic. Now exhibition game and they did play their starters, but I'd love to like imagine watching Kawhi against Curry. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, no, and I mean if you can get close, the thing that is startling to me most about NBA players is the actual size of them. They're freaks. Like there's these massive, massive individuals, and they kind of lumber around when they're walking. Like but then they get on the court and they're lightning fast. Like it's just crazy. I remember in junior walking past because we played in the old Glass Palace in Portland, and visiting teams would walk in, and I remember seeing Larry Bird and Robert Parrish walk by, and it was just these guys are freaks. They're just so tall and lanky and big, and when they get out there, it's amazing that they can move so gracefully
and athletic.
Yeah,
like the agility, it's just everything.
And just to shoot a basketball, like if you've never shot a basketball before, go out there and just shoot it. Like it's hard to get it all the way there.
Yeah, qualifying will run through October, obviously from October 1st to November 28th. November 29th during the morning show is the big announcement, and we'll give that trip away. So we got a ways to go, Gage. This is going to be quite a group of qualifiers. We'll see who ends up going there, and it's going to be an absolutely great time. Lars says he's got 4 bounce back. I don't know what's going on there, buddy, but you still got 2 months to try to qualify, so don't panic at all. Gage, I wanted to get to this day in sports history.
Okay.
It's a big happy birthday, 64th birthday to my favorite player of all time for the Edmonton Oilers. Do you know who that is?
64. Igor Ulanov?
Glenn Anderson.
Glenn Anderson. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. 64, hey? Yeah. What a player. What a player.
I've only had 3 jerseys in my lifetime. Glenn Anderson, Taylor Hall, and now I got a gifted a Leon Draisaitl one.
Wow. Yeah. Well, at least 2 of those are okay. No, hey. I remember Glenn Anderson. Just the first reckless abandon is what I think about when I think about Glenn. Just had no regard for human life going to the net, and he was going there with the puck. And if whoever he hit or destroyed, so be it. Like it was impressive. He didn't care. Like there was no fear in that guy. Man, those Oilers teams were something else. But
he was like what, the 4th, 5th best player on that team?
Yeah, and at most he would have been the best.
He would have been the best, because he usually played with the Moose.
Yeah,
so it was Gretzky, Curry, and then the second line was usually the Moose and Glenny Anderson.
I was back with the Oilers when he came back to Edmonton for a little bit, and I remember, I guess he came in wearing like this. He had a unique sense of style, and he had a fur coat on with like a Davy Crockett hat. And I remember Fred Brathwaite jumping up and grabbed his goalie stick. I was like, Glenn, there's something on your head. Stay still. Like he was swinging his stick because he thought it looked like an animal on the top of his head. But no, he was. It was neat to be that close to like an icon in hockey as a young player, right? He got traded. I think we were on the plane to St. Louis, and he got traded right then too. So
it's he was, like you said, just always crashing the net. His celebrations. I remember in 1990 when they won the cup, he kept singing Tina Turner's "We're Simply the Best" on the parade route.
Yeah.
And he's a big horse racing guy. I don't know if he owned horses or he just liked going to the ponies. But you know who was similar to him and who I really like too? Craig Simpson.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah, same. Well, yeah, it's too bad about Craig's back, but yeah, there was another time in the dressing room. Someone was late or whatever, and there was obviously a fine. And Glenn stands up, and it was like $100 fine or something. He goes, "Guys, we got to be on time. This is ridiculous. This $100 is nothing to me. You know, we gotta up the ante here. Now 100 is nothing. $5,000. Now that's a fine." I'm like, $5,000? Like, I'm sleeping here if it's $5,000. I'm never going home. I don't want to be late. But yeah, just a character. Great guy. God, he was funny.
Oh yeah. He's in his I still remember his Hall of Fame speech, one of the best. He brought up his daughter, just my favorite, number 9 for the Edmonton Oilers. Also, 1999, the Atlanta Thrashers played their first NHL game, a 4-1 loss to the Devils. 1997, the Canucks named Mark Messier as their new captain, replacing Trevor Linden. That just never felt right for me.
No. Well, Struddy was part of the team at that point.
We'll ask him about that.
We'll ask him about that. It's, just the Moose in Vancouver, that was, seeing him in that, it just didn't look.
No.
And they had those awful unis, at that point, they were terrible.
Yeah, that's something Oiler fans did not like. See, in 1991, the Chicago Blackhawks acquire Steve Smith from the Edmonton Oilers for Dave Manson in a third-round pick that became Kirk Maltby. That's a hell of a trade.
Yeah, wow. Kirk, that was my year with Maltz getting drafted, I think, 92.
Wish the Oilers would have held on to him because him and Draper became a duo there in Detroit, like that third, fourth line duo.
This was the problem with Maltz because when he played, I want to say Owen Sound, I believe. I think Maltz had he scored 50 goals in junior. And so when he came to Edmonton, he was touted as a goal scorer. And so they kept trying to find Maltz a place. And I want to say he was a great NHLer, but I think he struggled here. Because I remember when he got traded, again, I think we were in St. Louis again. A lot of guys traded but we were sitting in the basically the airport lobby and we're ready to go, and Maltz was gone. Like, he was saying bye to everybody. And I remember talking, and we were like, geez, he was going to Detroit, and they were stacked.
Wagon.
And we're like, is he even going to get into the lineup? Because we were red rotten in Edmonton. We were a very poor hockey team at that point. Like, I remember Kelly Buckberg, we had a players only meeting, and he's saying, guys, we got to pick it up because half of us couldn't play on another NHL team. That was his inspirational speech. Yeah. Oh, well.
Hey, did you know Kelly Buckberger scored the first goal in Atlanta Thrashers history?
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's part of I left it out. I don't know why, but and you talk about Kirk Maltby, who wasn't good here, but there's many players like Dan Cleary when he left because he came to the Oilers as this highly offensive guy from junior, never worked out here, but then he goes and finds his niche somewhere else and became a hell of a player.
This is like most guys get to the NHL because of their offensive prowess, so most cases, right? Mm-hmm. Especially at forward. But it doesn't always translate at the pro level, and they have to find a way to become regular NHLers. And look at those two guys, Maltby and Cleary. When you look back, how come they weren't Oilers? How did we get rid of these guys? They were integral to winning Stanley Cups, but they just had to find where they fit in on a team. And in Detroit, it was seamless. You know, it was seamless how those guys went to Detroit and just were phenomenal in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that was like the standard there. But there's two other players I remember that when they left or got traded, and then they became like stars. Miroslav Shetan.
Yeah.
And then your guy, the Polish Prince, Mariusz Sierkowski, who was like the face of the Islanders.
Yeah, no. Well, Miro, yeah, he was
40 goal scorer.
Yeah, good guy. He bad breath though. Man. Wow. One time we were going to the game. It was me and Dennis Bonvie in the back of the cab, And he was punishing us. We just tried to stay silent. It was like minus whatever 30 in Boston, I think it was, and we had to roll down the windows because it was. Miro had to get those teeth fixed.
Oh, Miroslav Shatan was an absolute beauty. Same with the Polish prince, Mary Shirkov. I love talking 90s Oilers. That's why you're like one of my favorites, because you're a part of that team. Penner's Pancake says, need 40 more thumbs up so Zach can change 100. Let's go. We got the big man, Jason Strudwick. I was going to say we got to hit 100 before Jason Strudwick comes on, but...
I don't think he comes on unless there's 100.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's hammer that thumbs up. That's coming up next. But first here, the doc on the inbox says, the first and only NBA game I've been to was the home season opener for the Raptors the year they won it all. The crowd when Kawhi was introduced was one of the loudest I've ever experienced in person. It was one of the best in-game fan experiences ever. And that's from the doc. And Uncle Jesse says, a bucket list item for me to see Edmonton Hockey Club play in every rink. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That's not like Tommy's been everywhere, right?
I know.
He was with the team. Yep. Like, that's like, I'd love to go to Chicago, Boston. It's a few other cities, obviously. But is there one city you haven't been to that you want to go watch a game? Maybe Nashville?
I've been to Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I guess I'd like to see a game in Utah just because I've never been and see what it's all about, right? But
did you have any intrigue to go to the Mullet Arena?
No. Well, no, I did. I did want to go see because I thought it'd be a weird place to see a full out hockey game being so close to the ice.
Yeah.
And that seemed kind of intriguing. But I mean, even the lighting wasn't good in that place. Like at the beginning of the year, you could see like the shadows on the ice. There wasn't enough lighting. They fixed it halfway through, but what a catastrophe.
The college feel for it was probably cool too. Because remember Edmonton played there last year? It was all Oiler fans.
Well, yeah, but I think that's what you got. If it was just a normal game, college kids couldn't afford that stuff. Like the tickets were ridiculous.
It's do you see the concession prices in Utah?
Yeah, they're low, huh? You got to get butts in the seat somehow.
A little bit different than here.
A little bit different, yeah.
You can't compare the two as Utah's.
There's actually gold flakes in the draft beer at Rogers this year. So
those are dangerous. Those are very dangerous beers.
They should be for $19 a pop.
2:39 here in Edmonton. It's Wednesday afternoon. This is EST Afternoons. Hernan Salas, Joaquin Gage, Zachticum. Coming up next, the one and only, everyone's favorite from the Got Your Back podcast, former Edmonton Oiler Jason Strudwick. But before that, we'll get to a sports update with Zachticum.
It's the Oilers against the Kraken in preseason action, and you can join Hernan Salas and Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show live at 7 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Sharks rookie forward Macklin Celebrini is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Celebrini suffered the injury last night when he crashed into the end boards on a rush towards a net against the Utah HC. Other games on tap see the Flames against the Jets, Preds facing the Hurricanes, and the Panthers battling the Lightning. Dolphins pass rusher Jalen Phillips will undergo a season-ending knee surgery later today. Phillips was injured in the third quarter of Sunday's game against the Texans. Day 2 of MLB wildcard action has the Tigers leading the Astros 1-0 in the 7th off a Parker Meadows home run. Later, it's the Royals and the Orioles. The Mets out in Milwaukee against the Brewers, while the Padres host the Braves. Right after the break, Jason Strudwick joins Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage right here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton, 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud of their fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
It's 2:42 Wednesday afternoon, EST afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum, just ahead of Jason Strudwick as Zach is working on getting the big guy on the phone here as we roll him along on this Wednesday. Of course, Oilers in action tonight, 8 o'clock against the Seattle Kraken. Oilers Plus. Will you be watching, Gage?
No, I'll be listening to the pregame show, and that's about it.
So you won't watch? You don't want to see Josh Brown?
No, I'm done. No, of course I'll watch. I'm too intrigued to watch and see how it goes. So,
because Friday's game's on Sportsnet, and then
I'll watch.
And then we wait for the final cuts. And
so that'll be done. So they play so Saturday,
Friday.
I know, but Saturday you'll hear of the cuts and probably.
And then it's back to just regular practice, right?
They'll probably have Saturday off, so they'll let everyone know. Sunday back, and then just get ready for
the season that kicks off on Wednesday against the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
So
they'll get Saturday off.
It's going to be a fun run here. The big topic, of course, is the right side of the Oilers defense. We'll get to all that after tomorrow's game. We'll see how they fared tonight down there in Seattle. Are we good as we bring in the one and only Jason Strudwick from the Got Your Back podcast, and of course, AKA The Chess. Jason, my friend, how you doing?
I'm good. It's great to talk to two of my favorite 200 friends in Edmonton today. So hope you guys how are you guys doing? How's the new show?
It's good. I mean, Dusty still hasn't asked for our keys, and we're still getting paid, so I think it's going good.
Wait, you're getting paid? Whoa, wait a second.
Struddy, how are things, man? We're a few, we're about 5-6 days away from the start of the regular season. I know you're back doing the podcast with Shagar and Rob Brown there. How's the summer been for you and heading into the season?
It's been good. And I think that, I'm like a lot of Oilers fans. It was a really incredible run there in the spring and early summer. And then the summer was really chaotic. Like there was a lot of things happening and pretty significant things, whether you think of new GM or the, trade deadline or July 1st or, the new GM. Like it was just a lot of things that happened. I feel like, my head is still trying to get all that figured out. Now we're in a training camp right away. And this feels like a lot more muted than everything that's happened from, let's say, August 30th to the playoff run, because there's not a lot of battles in camp, right? There's not a lot going on. There's one guy who's maybe, outdone himself, and you're thinking, hey, this guy's done more than he should, and he's pushing for a spot. But other than that, I feel like this is the first time where I've had a chance to take a deep breath and say, okay, we got some time here. The team is pretty much set, and let's get ready to move on here.
Struddy, let's get to the real reason that you're here, and that's self-promotion. You have joined the people at 0-1 to start your Jason Strudwick Defenders series at the mall. I just want to, it's ages U11, U13, October 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th, November 5th, 12th, 26th, going into December. Tell me a little bit about this Defender series. I wish I had young kids that were defensemen. It sounds very intriguing, and of course, teaming up with my buddy Dave Cooper over at 0-1. How did this all happen, and what can these kids look forward to?
Well, I mean, Dave Cooper could have used this. He could have used my knowledge and insights, and he would have had 1,000 NHL games. And I'm saying that in the kindest way possible. No, but in all seriousness, the 0-1's got a pretty neat thing going on with in the mall. If you're not familiar with it, they've got a lot of different ways for not just hockey players, but for people to train, but hockey players to train and get healthy and mix in and have access to the ice there at West Edmonton Mall. So we partnered up. What it's going to be, it'll be an hour off ice, whether that might be shooting or training or nutrition, and then an hour on the ice with me and some of my friends to help out and just to kind of help these kids do it all. And I have kids that are in hockey, and one of the challenges I find is that I'm driving them from practice to here, to all these different things. So my thought is with this program is that it's all under one roof, right? You're going to come and get the kids there, and we'll have them for 2.5 hours, and they'll get what they need off the ice and get what they need on the ice, hopefully from me, and then they'll be able to carry on other nights, maybe have some free nights. So I'm pretty excited about the way it's going, and I'm excited to get going, and excited to see how it all shakes out for these kids that join up.
That's great, buddy. No, I'm shocked that you're actually partnering up with Dave, because it's I know he's happy about it, and he made me say all those nice things. But 0-1, it's kind of it's a unique opportunity for young kids to, like you said, do everything under one roof. And yes, I do have to agree with you that Dave Cooper would have come way closer to that 1,000 game mark if he had something like this. Yeah. But back to the Oilers. I know you've been watching a lot of preseason, Struddy, and it's infuriating to me with the amount of injuries that are happening. I think they should just bubble wrap these guys and stop it here. But tonight against the Kraken, from your experience back in the day when maybe you were just starting to break in, these games meant a lot more in these cases. But from the Oilers, like, if you got maybe a spot on this team, I'm looking more so on the defensive side. What have you seen so far, and who do you think's really knocking at that door to starting next Wednesday against the Jets?
Well, there's opportunity, and as a youngish player or as a player who has ambitions to play in the NHL, you just want opportunity, and there is opportunity. I believe there's 2 spots that are wide open. The second and third right shot defenseman. I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel, but there's huge opportunity. So you want to come out and do your best to make a case for yourself and try to put your name forward. If I had come to this camp and I was a demon in this situation, there have been 3 things I focused on: defending well, moving the puck quickly, and being physical. That's it. Not worried about scoring, not worried about running the power play, because even if you're the most elite skilled defenseman, you're not getting on the power play. That guy's name is Evan Bouchard, and he's going to run it for years to come here for the Edmonton Oilers. So those 3 things are the things you have to take care of, and we've seen players do that at times. We've seen some guys struggle at times, and to be fair, you got to remember the preseason is quite hectic, right? It's chaotic because there's just players all over the place, and no one really understands exactly how to play together. But those are the 3 things I would have focused on if coming this camp, because I think that is what they're looking for in defensemen for this team for this year.
And Struddy, you're a former defenseman. What are you seeing from the guys on the right side here? Ty Emberson, Josh Brown, Travis Dermott, and I think Troy Stetcher. Is there 1 or 2 guys that's kind of doing the 3 things you just mentioned that's kind of taking that place right now for the battle there?
Well, 2 of the 3 guys I know well from watching them play. And Josh Brown, honestly, and I think I was very similar to him, and he is very similar to me, right? He needs to play physical and shut down cycles and kind of be mean, and I think that's what he'll bring. Puck movement isn't, going to be his strong suit, but he's got to find a way to not make it be a liability. Stetcher, I know what he is. He brings energy and he tries hard and he's physical. He moves the puck pretty well. At times, I think he wanders a little bit defensively. But I mean, he's not going to change. He is what he is at this age. The real wild card was Emberson, right? I think I'd seen him play just once or twice, but if I'm being honest, I wasn't like I was watching him when we were, watching the Sharks. When those rare times I turned those guys on. But for him, I think he had the most opportunity to write a story for himself, and I think it's been okay. I think that there's a couple of times he mishandled the puck, and that's going to happen, right? It's in preseason. But for him, he just has to be steady. When you look at a guy like Cody Ceci, for the most part, his value was in, just being steady. He made a pretty good first pass. He wasn't ultra physical, but he was fairly steady in what he did. And I think that's what they need from Emberson. So hasn't played with Nurse yet, not playing with him tonight. Yeah, he's been practicing them, but practicing is always the same as games. So those three guys seem to be it. I know Dermott's in there as well, and he's looked pretty good as well. But I really think that the wild card in Emberson, he's the guy that had the most to gain from this tryout. And I think that when he gets back in there on, I'm guessing Friday night, I think it'd be really, important for him to have a good showing.
Jason Strudwick joins us from the Got Your Back podcast and 01 Hockeyology, building tomorrow's defenseman today. Jason, I was talking about this earlier. I think it's important that the Edmonton Oilers develop a second power play unit, someone that can, that internal competition of getting out there. And I know the success of the first power play, but I think over the course of an 82 game schedule, I just think there's times when you can give another group of players some responsibility and maybe even feeling a little bit more part of winning games or making a difference. What's your position on having maybe a power play that you see a little bit more often than we have over the last few seasons?
You sound like a backup goalie that wants to play. That's what that comment says. Should every goalie play 41 games as well, Gager? Is that what you want?
I would have settled for just a 5 or 6, but yeah, 41 would have went. 41 would have been great.
Listen, I'm a seventh defenseman, and I'm with you, buddy. I am with you. So listen, I'm just giving you a hard time. I 100% agree with it, but I've come at it from a different angle, though we get to the same place. I believe they have to give guys roles and chances to play and get ice time on this team. How are you going to look down the bench and see Jeff Skinner and Arvidsson not getting on the power play? What is their role going to be? Is Skinner? I don't believe Skinner's going to be killing penalties. That sounds like Arvidsson's going to kill some penalties. So then you have a guy that you want to score. You hope. What do we want to get? 30 goals from Skinner would be great. And he's only going to play 5-on-5. So I'm saying what they need to do is they need to have 2 units so that more people get to play. Now, I'm obviously starting the big unit every time, and they have the benefit of the doubt. But if you're up by a couple goals in the third period, start the second unit. Put them out there. Let those guys get ice time. Then the other side, the bonus of it as well, is you peel some minutes back from 97, from 29 to that those guys get a little bit less minutes so they can be fresher at the end of what we hope will be a long playoff run. So I'm 100% with you. If in a perfect world, it'd be like a minute 20 and 40 seconds or a minute 15 and 45 seconds. That's hard to time out, in real time in a hockey game. But I couldn't agree with you more, Gager. That is something that if I'm non-block, you have to do. But you have to get the buy-in from the big guys. So that's a conversation I would expect you to have had with them this summer. Say, hey, we know you're good in the power play. We know that. But I would want to reduce your minutes on that, and this is the reason why. What are your thoughts? Because if they don't buy in, it's hard to do. If they do buy in, now everyone else falls in line from top to bottom.
Struddy, one last one here for you. We held the first ever ST Award show, and you came away a winner. I think it was Guest of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. People here on the Nasty Chat are asking where you have your award placed in your beautiful home.
I didn't know there was an award. I didn't get it. Do I get one?
Yeah. It's
Maybe
just like the Oscars and the Grammys. You get a nice little, what do you call it?
It belongs on the mantle right next to your trophy wife, Struddy.
Why don't I have it? Who do I have to talk to? Matthew Wannick?
Yeah, I think
what's he busy doing?
I think you have to stop by the EST headquarters.
He
to pick
wants
it up.
you in here to get it. I was going to bring it to your house along with a Slurpee, but Maddie said no. He put the kibosh in there. You have to come in and receive it yourself.
But, okay, well, I'll come in. I will come in. Listen, I haven't had a lot of awards in my life. Obviously, for most of the years, I was voted the best looking in my high school. But other than that, I haven't had a lot of awards. So I'll proudly display it. But Maddie's got to use his words. I can't read his mind. You know what I mean? He's got to let me know these are things or options are out there.
We'll send you the address. You can stop by anytime, Struddy. You're always welcome here. We'll hand you your award for, I think it was Best Guest of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. But Struddy, it's always great catching up with you. Absolutely. You're an absolute beauty, and wish you all the best in the season with the podcast there. Got your back podcast, and hopefully we can have you on during the season to talk some Edmonton Oilers, buddy.
But I love it, and good luck to you guys. I love it. I tune in, and I'll talk to you guys soon, soon.
Thanks, Struddy.
Thanks, Struddy.
That was the one and only Jason Strudwick, a.k.a. The Chest.
Yeah.
So, you ever, like, when you meet Struddy for the first time, I think a lot of people are blown away by his size. Because he's
huge. He's a huge man.
Yeah.
A big man.
First time I met him at 1260, I was like, damn, I was blown away.
It was, it's like we did that commercial for Kids Sport a couple years ago. And it's back or whatever. And we were saying what we were going to do. And Struddy was shooting pucks at me, and I was worried that he was going to launch them past me. But he was actually really, I hate to give him props, but he was really accurate. And I was just messing around. Like, I kind of did some stupid it's back thing, but we had a lot of fun. He was just dying laughing because I was like mad after I stopped the puck or whatever. But when you do meet him in person, he's larger than life.
One of the
best
best
time
guys.
for everyone.
Yes.
Great ambassador for the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm looking forward. And hey, if you have a young kid who's a defender, I know both these guys I call them both really good friends with Dave Cooper and Jason Strudwick. Struddy's D-Camp, his Defender Series starts October 8th. So I'll post the little thing. It's a 01.ca at Hockeyology, Jason Strudwick Defender Series.
We got to get out here quickly, though. Here it says, great show today, boys. That's from Hemo Tartacane. And then this one says, Struddy coaches my nephew. All I hear is great things about him. Keep up the great work. That's from Brian Smeaton. And Rusty Shackelford says, great show today, gents. Thank you so much. Thanks to Dan Ralph. Thanks to Jason Strudwick for joining us today. And a big congratulations to Dan, who is a qualifier for the EST flyaway to LA. Coming up next, it's the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. It will be truly fantastic for Joaquin Gage and Zachticum. I'm Hernan Salas. This has been EST Afternoons. We'll see you tomorrow.